Thank you so much for stopping by SOS Fragrance Reviews. My name is Rob, AKA DJ Ville, and today we're going to be touching on 3 fragrance houses I think you really need to know about. Stay tuned. Okay, first fragrance house is not a stranger to anyone in FragHead. It's a house that's infamous, so to speak, for doing copies of popular fragrances. The house is called Doer Fragrances. Now, I've kind of been hesitant on doing a review like this of the house because I know the sentiment within FragCom in regard to copying fragrances, and people don't view it as being original. So I get it. When I think about it, I think about the way people think about hip hop, or used to think about hip hop back in the day, and it wasn't really real music because you didn't really have guys playing instruments, and it took a while for it to catch on and for people to really, begin to embrace hip hop as an actual, art form. And still to this day, there's still people in different genres of music that still have the same sentiment. It hasn't really changed, so I understand it. But I have to kind of go by what my nose is telling me and what I feel in my gut when I smell their fragrances, and that is, these fragrances are fun. They're doing something that's new and fun in a way. Now, it's not totally new because there have been copies of fragrances going back as far as I can remember, like going back into the late 80s, early 90s. My cousin actually had a summer job going door to door selling knockoff fragrances way back in the day. And I remember I bought like a Drakkar copy from him back in the day. And, this is not a new thing. This is something that's been going on for a long time. But I understand the sentiment with a lot of folks. But like I said, I remember the reception Doer Fragrances received when they first hit the scene, and I really feel like since that time it seems like it's beginning to evolve and change, and I see more and more people kind of speaking on their fragrances, and I've actually picked up quite a few, and I'm not being paid by them at all. Just wanted to speak on the fragrances very generally, but I really feel like it's fun, it's exciting, and I feel like the juice is quality. Now, granted, they are either like a reinterpretation or like a concept series as they have it, or, they are copying a fragrance that's no longer in production, or a very popular fragrance that's out there and you can get it at a fraction of the cost. And, from first spray throughout the life of the fragrance, it never comes off as being cheap at all. You don't get that, very chemical opening at all. It smells high quality all the way through. These are extracts and they smell like it. Are they exact matches? Not always from the ones I've smelled, but they're very, very close, and they smell of high quality. So I feel like I've got to give props where props are due. The only knock I have on the fragrances are price point. Typically they go from like $50 to $65 for 30 ml. That's kind of pricey. If you were to buy 3 bottles, that's like 90 mils. We're talking like $150 to like $195 in that price range. You're kind of in niche territory right now with that price. So, I get when people knock price point. I do get that, but you can always get on their mailing list. They have 30% off sales quite a bit. Whenever I get that mailing, I will jump on the website, check out what they've got, and I'll usually pick up one, at a nice discount. And it does make a difference. So again, I've been able to pick up quite a few. If I had to recommend one, if you wanted to dip your toe into the house of Doer, I would say get, with the warm weather coming up, I would say get Caribbean Supernova. And this is what the bottle looks like right here. Very simple, very inexpensive. They all have like this little sticker on the front, and there's not really a whole lot to the bottle, as you can see. I mean, it's really, really simple. And this is what the box looks like. And it's a pretty simple box. It's like a cardboard coffin, so to speak. And, there's nothing on the box that like distinguishes each fragrance. It's pretty much just a simple general box that every fragrance goes into. You open it up. It's got this little space where the fragrance sits, and it doesn't really sit that snug. But I haven't had any issue with any deliveries where the bottle came and it was damaged. So pretty solid in that regard. But if you had to start off with one, I would say maybe start off with Caribbean Supernova. And this is like a blend of Elysium by Roja Dove and Virgin Island Water by Creed. Very nice fragrance for warm weather. I think this would be a huge crowd pleaser. And that's the cool thing. They are grabbing a lot of the niche fragrances that do have mass appeal, or the designer fragrances, and they're taking those fragrances and they're blending them, with ones that, match pretty well. And they come out really, really nice. And I've got some of the other, fragrances where they'll do a copy of a fragrance that's gone by. Like I've got, this is just called Pour Homme. And this is supposed to be a copy of by Dolce & Gabbana. Smells amazing. So, and I don't have the original. So I'm glad to have this in my collection. And man, every one that I've gotten has been a home run for me. So I haven't gotten anything that I've been disappointed with. So, and again, I'm not paid by any fragrance house. I don't get any free bottles. Everything I get, I pay out of pocket. So, I just think it's fun, it's fresh, it's, something a little different. If I was a young 20-something, I would probably take, $2 bills, buy me like 3 bottles for the summer, and have me some unique, juice to rock the summer that I wouldn't have to worry about other people smelling like me. It may smell similar, but for the most part, I feel like I would, have a different vibe. And I think that's a cool thing. So again, enough with that, Dua Fragrances, check them out if you're inclined. I think they're putting out a quality product. I think we have to kind of get used to like what's going on now in fragrance. And I think this is going to be, the trend of the future. And I don't see it changing anytime soon. So again, Dua Fragrances. Switching gears, moving on, fellow fragrance reviewer goes by Mr. Oz, released a fragrance, or he's got a fragrance line, all right, and it's Motif Olfactive. And I had to support. I went online. I was kind of scouring the internet to see what kind of feedback people were giving to some of his fragrances, and what I was seeing that was positive was really positive feedback on all his fragrances. But the one that I wanted to know what would be a safe starting point, and it's this one. It's called Vetiver, and this is a nice Vetiver fragrance. This is the presentation, all right, and let you guys see the front, the back. This is like a nice little paper sleeve. Take that off, okay, and this is the front. You open it up, little coffin, fragrance sits snugly inside, okay, and this is the bottle. Inexpensive bottle, but it's a thicker glass bottle. It's kind of got like the cheap plastic top on it, but it's solid. It's solid, and it's got the Motif Olfactive sticker. Vetiver is on the front of that. What kind of fragrance is this? I mean, obviously it's a vetiver fragrance. It's a very green, earthy vetiver fragrance, and it's one that is well constructed. It's one that right off the bat I liked, but I didn't think it would have mass appeal because it's got this this kind of prominent soil note, and it makes it really earthy. And I don't know like how new my fragrance was, meaning like if he just bottled it or not, and how long it had to, meld with all of the, notes together. But I actually wore it outdoors. I want to say about a week and a half back. We had a really warm day, about 72. I walked along the riverfront, and sun was beaming. I started to build up a little sweat, and the fragrance smelled amazing. It felt like it blended with the outdoors so well, and the earthiness of the fragrance and the vetiver and the citrus has got like this nice sparkle to it. It just came to life, and it kind of reminded me of some fragrances in my collection that when you spray them, they don't smell incredible, but when you get out and you're moving and you're kind of, doing your thing, you smell it and you're like, wow, this is an incredible smelling fragrance. I think of Dune by Dior. I can think of Ancre Noir Sport. Those are two fragrances that, to me, when you just smell them, you're like, it's okay. But when you wear them, it's a totally different story. Incredible. And those are two of my favorite warm weather fragrances. And I kind of put this fragrance in that same category. Almost if you think about a like ready to wear clothing versus, custom clothing. Ready to wear clothing looks great on the hanger. You put it on, it might have a little pop to it. But, when you look at custom clothing, it may be pretty simple, or it can be simple. You put it on, it fits you like a glove, and it just feels differently, and it wears differently, and it's better. You know what I mean? So if you've ever had something custom made for you that you worn versus like something ready to wear, there's a difference, and it may not always just on the hanger look better, but when you wear it, it wears better. And that's kind of the way this fragrance is for me, in my humble opinion. So, big up to Mr. Oz. It's a 50 mil. His fragrance is an extrait. It was $95. So, and he's got about 5 or 6. He's got a coffee fragrance that is getting a lot of positive, feedback. And I think that's going to be the next one I pick up. So again, Mr. Oz, Motif Olfactive, Verte, Divert, my first one from the house, and I'm glad to have it. So you got to check this one out. You got to check the house out and support our brother, Mr. Oz, who's, got his own fragrance. Last but not least is a fragrance house. It's called Savoir Faire. And I believe the owner's name, he goes by Chris Classic. He's an artist from New York, a music artist. I'm not really certain like if he does like hip hop or R&B, but he's an artist from New York. I think now he's based in Atlanta, and he's got 3 fragrances out under the, again, name of or brand of Savoir Faire. And he's got one that's called Beau Noir. This is what it looks like. I don't have the box. And he's got 2 more. One is called Soul Cafe. And lastly, he's got the third one. It's called Signature. All right. So Beau Noir is really my favorite of the 3. And this one is like basically like an amber and patchouli fragrance. It's got a little bit of cinnamon for some sweetness, some musk in the base, but well done fragrance. And I don't know if his fragrances are EDPs or extracts, but this one is well done. The next 2 for me are about a tie. This one's Signature, very masculine men's fragrance. It's got that tomato leaf note, and that's not something that you see in a lot of fragrances. I've got a Trussardi fragrance that's got the tomato leaf note, and then I've got one more. I can't remember what it was, but the tomato leaf note is kind of like a mineral type note. It kind of smells like it's like rock almost to me, and it's unique, and this has got that, plus it's got leather, plus it's got woods, and I think this was a fresh batch. I think all three were a fresh batch when he sent them out, because I bought this, I want to say in February, and I want to say that he was out of juice, but you can still buy the 3-pack. And his fragrances are, I think, priced at $95 for a 50 ml, but I got them on sale and they were about like 70. The price was about $70 each. But really nice juice. This other one, So Cafe. This one is tobacco and coffee, pretty much. This is a unisex fragrance right here. It's a little bit softer. It's got a little bit of sweetness to it. But all three are really well done fragrances, and I'm happy to have them in the collection. And, all of these fragrances are made by people of color. And, we definitely got to support people of color when they put out a quality product. And all three, in my opinion, are quality products, or these are quality houses that are putting out fragrances for you guys to enjoy. So I hope that you guys would go out there and support each one of these houses and get something, do your own research, see if there's something that you like, and then, take a shot. As always, I want to say thank you for checking out the channel. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe. If you've never subscribed to my channel, I would really appreciate it. Any feedback is appreciated. As always, be safe, be blessed, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.